Nobody would have thought that I would be the one. Rhyner, sports talk. Baseball, 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 baseball.
Oh, with the big mic. Oh, okay. All right, yeah. Okay, now I get it.
We got a lightning strike, boys. What happened over there, Grego? We had a little lightning strike right outside the window.
All right. Here's a tip for all these Americano League teams.
Wait, you said tip?
Yeah, tip.
Okay.
With a P.
Keep jamming.
The ticket, colon, nothing but a big Gen X jerk-off sake.
This is a cool night or what?
Although somebody would hear that and go, bullshit.
I'm back, bitches.
Hello, this is Mike Rhyner of your Dark Companion. We are in dry dock at the moment, but we have best of for you. And perhaps that will tide you over until we get back. We will be back next year with a whole bunch more stuff, just like we've had for all of this year. And you've been a part of it. We thank you very much for that. Now, enjoy a little best of.
Let's do this, little buddy.
3, 2, 1. Oh, no. That cringy feeling every time the countdown starts that I get. And all of a sudden, I got to be on. All right, I'll show you. I'll show you just how focused I am and how ready to go I am. I will show you. The quickest, oh shit, what did I just say ever? How are you doing today, man?
Well,
That's a rhetorical question if there ever was one, because number one, regardless of how you're doing today, I'm on the other side of the camera. You're out there in podcast land. You could tell me, but I'm not going to be able to hear you. I could tell you how I'm doing, but you probably don't care. So, who is Michael Hellman?
Mayo Man?
Yeah, Mailman.
Is loungy a word?
It is now.
It is now.
Loungy. Very loungy. I love that.
Together. So.
There are two words you need to learn here as this process plays out. Those words are, yes, dear.
I thought so. Yes, turtle dove.
Of course. Anything for you, pet.
huge influence in my career. And I'll explain why as we go through the job.
Yeah, I want to know that. I mean,
You said, what did I do?
I mean, by the time we were doing anything together, you'd already done so much, you know?
Yeah.
Done just about everything.
But the reason I'm in this chair today is because of you. Like, it does not happen. And I'll educate.
All right, this is a little strong.
And I remember we were both on America Online with our email because I knew that because I got an instant message from you one night. This is 1998. Tell me more about Jeff Zimmerman. Or I can't remember which prospect it was. It was probably Jeff Zimmerman.
Or Mike Zawicka.
It might have been Mike Zawicka or Kelly Dransfeld. Very well could have been. The thing is I think back to that instant message and the conversations you and I used to have almost day to day after that, I felt like I'd made it. Like I was sending emails out to my college buddies. Now I'm having a conversation with like the top sports talk guy in Dallas, Fort Worth. Like to me, okay, this has not gone where I intended to, but I have reached the pinnacle. That was it to me.
One night, I get an instant message, an AOL instant message from him.
So you think I started it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you got the steel trap. It may have happened that way.
No, I don't. You do. But this is just the way I remember it. I got an AOL instant message from Jamie about somebody in the minor leagues, probably one of those guys that you just mentioned, maybe somebody else. I really don't remember. And there was a little bit of back and forth between the two of us about him.
Wink.
And the same thing would happen over a period of a few days. And it wasn't long until I realized that this guy is really into the minor league scene. Not only is he into the minor league scene, he knows a lot more about it than I do.
You cared a lot.
I cared a lot, but I just didn't have I guess I just didn't have access to the stuff that you had access to. I started to realize that this guy knew a lot more about this than I did. And so I started to lean on him a little bit for what he knew. And I would, take that to the air. And then as I got to know him a little bit better over a period of time, I realized that this guy was extremely smart. This guy knew ball. He was extremely smart. And this was a resource here in every way. And then from there, it just blew up, and I've been following you ever since.
Well, and I appreciate that. But, the reason I say, like, this doesn't happen without you is you started reading on the air from what I wrote. I was writing. This is before we had kids, so I was writing every day. And it got to the point, I think it was maybe 4:40. Like, every day there was a set time. And I think you're the one who named it the Newburgh Minor League Report.
Yeah, I think I did do that.
And you started reading, you and Grego were reading every day from something I'd written that day, and that's when things blew up. I'm starting to get like, please add me to your email list.
Like you guys yapping on the radio, I see the ticket stock, and I say, hey, any advice? And he basically said, find a better fucking major. Go into broadcast journalism. You'll have more options, and that led me to the North Texas Daily, the newspaper path, and here I am many, many moons later.
Well, you're really, really good at what you do. So clearly, I didn't steer you wrong, and you did take that advice.
I did. It was. I'm not kidding around when I say it was life-altering advice.
I'm shocked and flattered by that.
But you wrote something about how the ticket got started, and it was all about the word chemistry and why it worked. Yeah. And I asked you a question about it, and you graciously talked to me about it for probably way longer than you had time for. But I was fascinated to hear, because that was so much more important than just about anything else about why that works.
Yeah. There's no question about it. I don't know how or exactly when or why this happened, but somehow we were able to establish chemistry between us very quickly. We kind of had this us against the world thing, because everybody out there thought there was no way we were going to make it, and that kind of brought us all together. and we were able to develop that kind of chemistry, and it brought me around on the entire concept of chemistry. And now I think that in any group endeavor, it's the most important thing that you can have.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, you don't have anything.
And I don't know if it matters at what stage, what level you're at, because all that really matters is, can you put out something good? And if you don't have that chemistry, it doesn't matter if you're, a startup, an established thing, the top of the heap. If you don't have chemistry, it's not good.
No. If you don't have chemistry, people are going to see that you don't have chemistry. And when they see that you don't have chemistry, it's church.
Yeah. And that's it.
And so where do you come along? Well, for some reason, I still wasn't considered credible because I'm working at a music station. You worked at the zoo, so he and I were doing sports from music stations, and I would tell him from time to time, man, I don't know what I can do. I'm doing everything, and people just not think I'm a real reporter. And I got a degree in journalism, especially the print media guys. They didn't like us anyway.
No.
They called Randy Galloway, who's our friend, he just called us Goldie throats.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I need credibility on this. One day, Mike tells me, we're all the radio guys called at the back of the bus up there at the Texas Rangers or Arlington Stadium. We'd sit in our own little booth because the real media, the print media, didn't want us in the booth with them.
Because we made too much noise.
We made too much noise. So the guys in the back of the bus, me, Mike, Grego, George, Craig, sound like the ticket, doesn't it? Well, guess what? Mike said, hey, Chris, I think we're going to start up this new radio station. And I said, really? I'm on K104. I'm not even thinking it could be done. So they start up the radio station. And so when Kurt Menefee left to go to New York, Mike and I met at a restaurant. And Mike said, do you think? And I said, I have to talk to the owner.
Yeah. This is one of these, is there any way we could make this work situation because
Yeah.
I mean he was. I wanted you for that gig.
Yeah,
I wanted you for that
said
gig, but
You can't work in two stations in one city.
No, you can't. And I knew I could never pry you away from K104.
Right.
And yeah, you just can't do that.
You can't do that. And so I was
especially under the same name. Maybe if you have like an alias or
no, they would know
something,
my
but even
voice.
then, yeah,
No, they recognize
you
the
can't.
voice. But Mike, you allowed me the opportunity to host a talk show. And here's something a lot of people don't know. I had never done a talk show. I just wanted to do a talk show, and everybody had a co-host except me. So I said, Mike, can you be my co-host for a little while?
Oh.
So he was my co-host.
I didn't know
he
that.
was doing the hardline, and he was co-hosting for, what was it, about a week?
Yeah, I was just kind of babysitting you a little bit.
Making
just to
sure I
make
wouldn't fall off the bicycle.
Yeah.
So Mike,
I was just kind of his trainer wheels for about a week.
Yeah. So first,
but then I learned he's a big boy. He can do this.
Yeah. When the ticket started, it was the little ticket because nobody thought it was real or it would last. So my whole deal was I've always felt like I was an underdog and I wanted to help join the underdogs. You know what I mean? And so we were all friends anyway.
Yeah.
But you had huge influence on my life.
Oh, man. I'll never forget. I will forget who the article was written by, but it's still one of my all-time favorite quotes because I think it rang truer. In some ways, it rang truer than anything anybody ever said about me. And you gave me a similar send-up in this article about my so-called impact, and I was the big bear in town or whatever. And you go, and keep in mind, this comes from a guy who doesn't even like Hanson. And everybody was like, that's a rude thing to say. And I went, no, that's a brilliant thing to say. And I'll never forget that quote. I was so incredibly flattered by it. And, but yeah, and I don't even like the man, you know.
Well, I do now. Over the years, I came to see, number one, that you were great at what you did, that you did it like nobody else. But the main thing for me was that you did it the way you wanted to do it. And you did it the way you thought it should be done. And when we set out along that trail with the ticket so long ago, that's what I wanted to do. There's no bogging down around here. You didn't bog it down at all. Did he, Shoopy?
You can't bog down what that can't be bogged down.
Being this podcast, bitches, yes, we're all like this. Yeah. They were all sounded stoned.
And how did you sound when you did it?
And I wanted to be stoned, and I sounded like this. The hell? Ring-a-ding-ding. I felt a cloud of doom start to arise up toward the ceiling of the American Airlines Center.
I did not check Twitter. Did the church make an appearance?
No, there was no church last night.
You have been known to throw up the church a little early.
Yeah, I have. Sometimes it happens.
And it almost happened last night.
Yeah, it was a little bit of an ill-timed guess.
I don't want to sidetrack, but where did your usage of church come from in that context? I don't think I've ever gotten the full story behind it.
I don't know if I've ever gotten the story behind it either, but it's been around for a long time.
Yeah. Explain, Shoopy.
Church is what happens after an ill wind blows.
The ill wind frequently leads to it.
And definitely precedes it.
I got it from a book that was written a long time ago, like in the, I think 70s, and it was about the Yankees. The name of the book was The Bronx Zoo. And it was a very, very well-known, very popular, very widely read, and very controversial book because it exposed the inner workings of the Yankees at a time when that had not been done yet. And this was during the Reggie Jackson era when he was there, and it was that bunch, him and Chris Chambliss and Ron Guidry, Thurman Munson, Greg Nettles, those guys were all there. And that was a saying that went around in the Yankee clubhouse, according to to whoever the narrator of the book was, when something was finished and over with, and you just knew that was it. It was church, as in funeral, you know. And I don't know. I like that.
Yeah. But yeah, it looks like Sparky Lyle and Peter Gollenbach.
Okay. Yeah. Sparky Lyle was another character. Mm-hmm. So it was a team that was full of them, and it's still. I mean, if you were around and have some idea of that time with the Yankees, it's still a pretty good read today. It holds up. But I shall we say, appropriated that and started to use it for my own benefit. And when something is over, it's church.
Look at him.
I mean,
he's glowing.
He is glowing.
Playing good golf.
Are you pregnant?
Yeah, what's going on? Are you with child?
Well, I
got out of the car.
I'll tell you
Drew
what,
and I were out front. When he got out of the car,
I've been eating a lot of sugar. I'm probably bloated.
Of his belly,
yeah, I am wearing a baggier shirt to try to hide it.
And you said you're glowing. Isn't that what causes women to glow?
Yeah,
it's being pregnant.
Yeah,
okay.
That's what I've always heard.
Yes, no, that's true, right?
I think
it's true.
Okay,
I think
I'm not pregnant.
You are glowing.
That's good news.
Yeah.
Okay, we can break that news. Mike Bassick is not pregnant.
You know what it might be though. Yesterday was Mike's birthday.
Yeah.
Whoa,
yeah.
Whoa.
Mike's birthday.
Look
And Mike,
at
I really dug deep.
Dave.
I dug deep, Mike.
Now, right off the top, you're probably wondering, why is he wearing that goofy hat? Well, 2 reasons. Number one, this is the 1-year birthday of your dark companion.
Yeah.
Hey. We have made it through this for 1 year. Usually my attention span in these things lasts for about 6 weeks tops. So we've made it a whole year today. And thanks to all of you for helping me out with this little venture. And thanks to you out there for being by the channel. So we're celebrating that around here. But there is another item. Our guest today happens to be celebrating the hanging of another year on the line himself. He is the great Eric Nadel, the Hall of Fame voice of the Texas Baseball Rangers, a longtime friend and compadre of mine, and it's delightful. It's a delight to have you here on YDC, Eric.
Great to be back. Thanks for sharing your 1-year birthday with me, and I'll share my birthday with you. 29 plus.
Podcast with a little bit of weather. I fall somewhere between God and Satan.
Oh my goodness. What a delightful time we're having with our best of, Shoopy.
Man.
What a great time.
You believe this?
A whole year of fun.
A whole year of best of. I didn't know we had any
Why are you
best
interrupting?
Oh, we have so
Why
much.
are you interrupting? You're interrupting the show. Don't interrupt. I'm interrupting the erupter.
Back to best of.
You know, I was kind of worried about coming over here today.
Why? Because of the wind?
No, because I'm in a bad mood. But then I show up and you're in a worse mood than me. So it's great. It's wonderful.
It's like things have never changed.
Yeah. Well, you just came on and said, I don't want to be here today. Don't want to do this podcast. And first of all, that makes me feel really good.
Well,
you know?
I don't think I said that. I don't.
You know, I'd bitch if you'd hung me with a new rope, you know? But
there he is, folks.
A hammer.
It's masterful bon mots like that have put him where he is.
God, I lost my hat.
Keep it off.
Lost my hat.
I think we need to bring back the word honky.
Oh.
All right, define.
Just a stupid white person. Just a honky.
Man.
That's like the greatest word ever for a white person. A honky. We need that word back. We need honky back.
So I like going in there and just getting my laptop out and just pulling up some porn and just watching porn while these Japanese people go to work on my feet.
Busting the Babysitter 3. Yeah, that's kind of what I do when I go to my petty place, which I've been going to for even longer than that. But I don't I don't threaten them with busting the Babysitter 3.
But you do occasionally walk out without paying, which makes it a petty theft.
Look at him over there.
Well, he's
All right,
proud
I'm going
of that
home.
one.
Look
man.
at him.
He is
Good night,
proud
everybody.
of that one.
Wow.
Look, you unintentionally set me up by talking about petties. What am I supposed to do?
Hey, let me ask you a question. How do you watch football games these days? Do you watch the NFL RedZone?
No.
Do you watch do you watch just one game?
I watch just one game.
How do you do that?
I don't have the focus to.
How do you do that?
I don't have the focus to go to flit about from game to game to game.
I've ruined myself, Rons.
Are you on the NFL RedZone?
Yes, and I'm a box guy, and I don't want to be a box guy. And now they have on DirecTV, which you have, right?
Yes.
They have the college football box score. Have you seen that one?
No.
You can watch 6 college football games at one time.
I'm an old guy. I don't think I have the focus for that.
I don't either, but yet I'm trying to do it. Like on Monday night, one game on, right? Man, I'm searching for another game. Where's the other damn game? Give me another game. Just anything. And I think
you always want more.
Yes, I know, and it's crazy.
I'm happy with one. You always want more.
But I'm hooked on it, and I can't get off of it, and it's changing the way I'm consuming sports. I need help. I need to go to rehab.
Man, that's sensory overload there.
I know it is. And it drives me crazy when I can't see it. And then I'll miss something and I'll have to rewind it. And now I'm completely out of whack.
Well, on the
time-wise.
RedZone, don't they only show scoring plays?
Yes. Yeah, but you get addicted to that. It's kind of like eating frozen snot.
There will be one, but where?
Says the Thug Hunter. You have been raped by the CCP.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I guess.
Boy, we did get punked.
I don't know.
Who put that in?
CCP thugs own you.
So yeah, we apparently got hacked.
Oh, lovely.
There was a lot of nude men having a really good time. Then we're just kind of in a Gen X jerk-off session with them here today.
We're on, by the way.
Okay, cool. It can't be. It can't be time to go yet. Sorry. Not up to a good start here. Take 2 in 3, 2, 1.
I came to Dallas out of active duty in the Army in the fall of 1970. My parents and brother had moved from Chicago that summer while I was on active duty because of my dad's work. That led to me getting this job with WRR, which led me to getting the job with KRLD, which led to now I'm starting year 47 in the fall with the Cowboys. If my dad had taken a job in Portland, Maine, or Boise, or Omaha instead of Dallas, probably overwhelming chance that I would not be here today.
Yeah, the whole narrative changes.
I'd be somewhere doing something, but I don't know what it would be. But that's not what happened. He took a job in Dallas. My personal belief is I don't believe in predestination. I very much believe, I believe in God and I believe in free will. What I believe is that there's a path that may or may not be intended for us, but we have to make choices. We have to make mistakes. We have to recover from them. I just don't think it's an accident that my dad took a job in Dallas instead of in Cincinnati.
it, especially if a kid doesn't understand what's happening to him when his brain chemicals go crazy because he's afraid to tell anybody that he's just waking up feeling sad for no apparent reason. He's not going to get any help. He's not going to get any better. If he realizes there's something going on there and is aware of it because his friends are checking in on him and he knows it's okay to talk about it, he's going to get help, and it's not going to develop into any sort of a life-threatening issue.
If it happens to the great Eric Nadel, it can happen to anybody.
Yeah, it's just it's true. It's inexplicable. Everything's going right in your life, but for some reason you're just sad all the time. For some reason you don't enjoy music anymore. You don't enjoy great food anymore. It's it's nuts. There's no explaining it, but it can be treated. Like any other illness, and fortunately, I was able to find the right solution, and I think most people can as long as they're willing to deal with it.
Deals for community improvement and development. Creatives are coming together to build in toward the future. You can't pay for, and that is going to be long lasting for that mother, her child, and the 7 generations after them. So.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Which is when you describe the building, for me, it's like I get emotional because we are an intervention worth having for 7 generations into the future. I think about it all the time. As I sit across the street, I'm like, ooh, I'm going to be an old man. Having a podcast. Hello.
Hey.
And there's going to be a little one who's desires to be an artist, who comes and sees a work, or their parents are artists and, they're having a creative conversation and they're running around the building and we are building. I get to build something, or I'm charged with continuing the building of something that actually will be sustained. So,
if you got time, we got time.
Eric Nadel recommended that we ask about this.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's funny because I was talking to Boach the other day. It might have been actually yesterday we were having this conversation, but my command of details isn't always perfect. And I was asking Boach about, as the guy who caught Eric Shaw that day that Rose broke the record. Was that the greatest moment that you were ever a part of as a player, that kind of thing? And he kind of blended in managing stuff and was talking about World Series and things like that. And one of the things he mentioned was this Matt Cain perfect game. Well, that was against Houston. Matt Cain threw a perfect game in San Francisco. And I was on the radio side that day. But that was the year that I was pretty certain we were going to get fired. Everybody with the Astros were going to get fired because there was a regime change that was kind of happening over the course of the summer. And so I was making it a real point everywhere I went to make sure that I soaked up that, those 1 or 2 things that were really important in that place, because who knows if you're going to get back. And so Willie in San Francisco was always in the home clubhouse. And he was just down there for guys to come talk ball.
Really?
With. Yeah.
I've never heard this.
This is amazing. But he would come in, I'd say 90% of the home games, and they'd set up a card table, and there's a big recliner, and Willie would just sit in there, and guys could come in and say hello, ask him something. And listen, he paid attention all the time. He listened to the games on the radio because his eyesight was going so bad. He was a radio guy. And when my first ever job in the big leagues was with the Giants doing radio. And so, there was at least some familiarity or connection. So anyway, we're in San Francisco, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a day. I'm just going to spin the whole thing in with Willie. Like, forget the other stuff. Who gives a rat's, right? I'm going to just go spin it with Willie. So I go in there, and we get to talking, and he's beautiful. And I'm asking him, I've researched like mad. I've got everything prepared. I'm just a million things I could talk to him about. But he's having a ball. I had no idea how much he loved to talk about this stuff. And we're talking about yesterday's game. We're talking about games he played in all over the map. And so we're getting to the end there, and I'm like, time's wasting, right? And Dave Fleming's in there with me, and Dave and I went to college together, and he works for the Giants. And he was like, we got to get upstairs. We got to get upstairs. Finally, he left. And it is now moments from first pitch. Now, I should have eaten. I should have written in my lineup card. There's a lot of stuff I should have been doing. But Willie won't stop talking. And so I was like, Willie, I don't know. I mean, I have to go. I have to go. Well, no. When are we going to talk again? I said, well, we're coming back right after the All-Star game. I said, no, wait a minute. Do you go to the All-Star game? I said, because would you be back? He's like, no, I don't travel like that anymore, you know? So, okay. He's like, well, why don't you come by the house? I said, ding dong. Willie, let me get that phone number. So I'm like, okay. I called my wife. I was like, hey, All-Star break, we're going to San Francisco. Take the kids. It'll be a great vacation. And I'm going to Willie Mays' house. So I run upstairs, and I get up to the booth, and the game's starting. And I'm like, all right, here's the first pitch of the game. It's coming to Matsui. Kaz Matsui. And it's outside, ball one. And due up next is Craig Biggio. You know, whoever was in the lineup. And so I'm filling out as we're going along. And next thing you know, it's a perfect game. And I'm telling you, if you've never seen a perfect game, it is like witnessing the birth of a child. Like that, if you don't believe in God beforehand, then you come walking in and you're like, whew, it's kind of hard to overlook the miracle of what I just saw. And Matt Cain's perfect game was just insane. And there were moments that were great and all that stuff. And the Giants are really dear to me because of my start there and the time I spent there. And so the game ends. He throws his perfect game. And up tight with John Miller, right? Dwayne Kuiper, Kruko, Fleming, and I went to school together. Those are their announcers. I go into their booth afterwards. They're doing a long post game, right? Celebrating this whole thing. We're having beers in there. I'm not on the air with them, but I'm drinking all their beers, and we're having a great time. Then they get done, and we're watching Matt Cain and his wife come out, take a picture on the mound. The lights have come down off the, I mean, we've been there a long time now. He's showered, he's talked to all the press, all that stuff. He and his wife go out, they take a picture on the mound. Major League Baseball officials are starting to dig out the slab itself. They're going to take it to the Hall of Fame. The umpiring crew comes out, they take a picture on the mound. This is like, 2 hours after the game. And seagulls are spinning around, and it's empty and it's quiet. And if you've ever been in an empty, quiet Major League ballpark, it's just, it's just that place it takes you.
Yeah.
And that day, man, was like, it was just incredible.
I remember Roger would talk you up quite a bit as you were matriculating. Now, I'd never heard you.
Imagine that.
Yeah. I'd never heard you or anything like that, but he would always tell us every time I would run into him that
my boy
Teddy's a fast riser. He is on his way. He is going somewhere.
Oh, man. And about that, Mike, I loved that my dad always tuned in. It didn't matter when I started to do games on Westwood One or ESPN. I'm doing a game that nobody's watching. Okay. Mm-hmm. And, it's on the West Coast and it's late and it's on ESPNU, or it's a Westwood One game, in the Pac-12 or something. Who's listening to this? Who's dialed into this? And I still get that text from my dad.
Yeah.
He's locked in on, the iPad or the phone at home, streaming it somehow. And what I do, Mike, was different than what my dad did. My dad, as you know, being that anchor at KRLD for all those years, he always wanted to be a play-by-play announcer. That was his love.
Yeah.
It didn't break for him. And so I appreciate it that much more that I've been able to do that. My dad, he talked about it later in life. He was putting stuff together. He wanted to send it to Howie at Westwood One just to get some feedback, just to see, why not? And, he had the voice. He could absolutely do it. I don't think he ever sent it. And I don't know why. I never got to ask him that. But I love that I have been able to follow this dream, and I know that he's always with me and still cheering me on.
And I mean, every time I would run into him as you were starting to I guess this is about that time that you're talking about here.
Yeah.
I'd always hear about my boy Teddy. My boy Teddy is really coming along.
I believed it. And I used to go to bed and dream about it, not like, oh man, I hope this could happen. I went to bed thinking, this is going to happen. This is what it's going to be like. Now, you don't have those dreams and be completely satisfied if you turn out to be the kind of ball player that I turned out to be. I dreamed about Babe Ruth. I mean, I dreamed about stars. So
you got to think big, man.
I didn't quite reach my goal, but I really think because I believed that and felt that way from the time I was 8 years old, and it's in my subconscious mind that all the decisions I made from then on growing up were geared toward that happening. Finding maybe the best coach, playing on the best team, not playing Babe Ruth League ball, but going to Cape Cod to play it. I mean, whatever these things were, I really think the way I thought about it from the time I was little had a lot to do with it.
It's really not. I said the bottom line is I'm getting paid to go watch an NFL football game. If I start bitching about that, I need to cash it in.
Yeah.
There's some jobs where you say, wow, they are not paying me enough, but. Now, they're not paying me enough just in case my employers are listening. But
you hear that, Jerry?
But no, I mean, let's face it, we're still getting into an NFL game. And I always said, Ryan's my goal, graduated from college, and I like to keep my goals low so you can achieve them, but was to never have to pay to get into an NFL game. So I've either been a player or announcer for all these years. So I still get in free to all the NFL games.
That's right. You're still on track.
I'm achieving
to achieve that lifetime goal.
That's like people say, "What's your New Year's resolution?" And I say to drink more wine and more coffee.
Getting to cover the Mavs, I would say in 2006, the loss to Miami here, and then being outside the locker room after they had just beaten Miami in 2011. And I was pregnant at the time, and I was the first person in line to get into the locker room. That they were nice to me because they let the fat pregnant lady up in the front row. And I heard them cheering and going crazy. And I was like, 13-year-old Gina would never believe that you are right outside the Mavericks locker room as they are pouring champagne and going crazy and doing all this stuff. And after winning that championship against the same Miami team who they just lost to 5 years earlier. And I remember Jason Terry came up to me afterwards and he's like, I know you can't drink any champagne right now, but he gave me a pennant from the locker room that was soaked in champagne. And I moved, 4 years ago, and I accidentally left that in my old house. And it just breaks my heart that I don't have that anymore. But that was just such an amazing moment.
Where you had that, I guess, that eureka flash of, okay, now I know, now I see it. This is going to work.
Well, I kind of had it before, I had it before we even, I kind of had it before we even played our first show. But what really made me feel it was we were in the UK, we planned that particular festival, the Meltdown Festival. Mm-hmm. And I've talked about this before, but it's kind of a watershed moment. We were playing that show with Divine Comedy, and it was in this beautiful Royal Festival Hall, this beautiful theater. And in the middle of our performance, the power goes out. And up until that point, the audience was like this, they couldn't quite wrap their heads around what was going on. I mean, come on, we were all wearing white robes. We're from Texas. We're singing this, really overzealous music and we're I'm out there doing my thing. And it was a lot to take in. They didn't quite know how to take it. So we hadn't quite won the audience over. And the power went out, which is kind of your worst nightmare. But there was just one light that was lining up on the stage, and it was coincidentally on me. Everything else is in the dark, and there's no power. And it was awkward there for a second, and I just kind of turned around and I said, I told the band, I said, you guys that are on handheld instruments, I go, we're going to play Diamonds, and it's a song off Together We're Heavy. And I go, I'm just going to sing it a cappella, and then the choir, you can join in. and we're just going to do it. And so I kind of closed my eyes, and I start the song off vocally, but I didn't have any music. So hopefully I land in the right key. And I did. So I start singing it. And then what instruments are playing along, they're playing along. We're in key, we're in tempo. And the choir's back there just kind of listening, and they're kind of fidgeting. They don't know we're all kind of freaking out, because you can imagine it's a full theater, and it's like having your clothes ripped off. You're like, oh my God, this is our shot, and it's being interrupted by this. But so I start singing, I'm belting it out there, close my eyes, I'm just singing. And right before, when we're going through the song, and right before it hits the chorus, the power comes back on. The band's still playing, and they hit on that note on the start of the chorus. It crescendos into this massive chorus, and we're belting it and just picking up.
It did.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, the place erupts. Everyone stands up, starts screaming, applauding, and we finished the song, and we had them from that moment. And it was one of those times that it was like, holy shit, man! Like, the worst possible thing that could have happened to us turned out to be the best thing that could have happened to us, because after that moment, we had every label in the country trying to sign the band just from that particular show, because they were all there. There was a buzz about the band, but there wasn't much known about it. But I remember after that, everyone's going, you know, when y'all stopped it and just did it a cappella like that, and you sang this, you got to do that was amazing. It's like, dude, the power went out. We had no freaking control over that.
My ass.
Yeah, that was like.
I think he's ready. And then I was pitching in Omaha when I was in AAA. I know Tom Griff came in with Bobby Valentine when he was replacing. Rhyner. Mm-hmm. And that's when I go like, yes. So then I pitch, and next thing I know, they say, hey, you come to the major leagues.
What'd you think when you heard that?
Oh, that was unbelievable. It was
everything that you've been trying to get to.
It means a lot to me, that's for sure. And this is an all-in job, man. I told Woods, like, you cannot be one foot out of anything. I don't believe that in parenting. I don't believe that in a marriage. I don't believe that in managing a game. So, like, I'm all in, and I expect that of everybody on my staff as well.
You really signed up for all this bullshit again, and all the media and all the stuff that we texted about, and I'm like, oh man, he did it. He really did it. He's going to do it again. And you look good in the uniform. As much as I'd like to see you in a different one, you look really good in the uni, which I knew you would. I told you, Rhynes, he could wear a grocery bag and look better than we do. But
oh, I know.
But
I know.
Yeah, it's just it's such a good fit, and you got dogs on that team.
Michael, you weren't lying. This is my favorite podcast.
If you want to talk about fart drops,
hello.
There's the source right over there.
I know who the source is.
That tells you all you need to know. All right, see, that's what made him famous.
Literally.
That's what did it for him.
I think literally that drop.
That put him where he is.
Not even just a fart, but that specific
Is
one.
that the number 4?
For me, for this one, it's number 2.
Okay.
Ironically. What a stupid life.
God, that's almost wet.
Oh. I don't know. One more time. That's pretty wet.
It's pretty
That's
dirty.
very
filthy.
wet. Oh, awful.
Disgusting.
It's like a Paul Skeens curveball.
That's right.
It's filthy.
And also, we have with us the new manager of the Texas Baseball Rangers, Skip Shoemaker. And Skip Schumacher. That's going to kill me.
Live.
All right, okay, I screwed up. 132.
It's okay. It's
132,
okay.
damn it.
Not bad.
132. Screw you, man.
Yeah. You hear us?
So, did the people know how it was that I was your guest today, and then not your guest today, and then now your guest today? Are we cool with this?
We might have overreached a little bit.
Yeah. So, you want me to tell the story, group?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, because I haven't heard this story. I'm the last to know this shit.
You were on the text message.
So the Dallas Stars inducted me into their Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Let's go. Or wait.
Fantastic.
They announced that they're inducting me into their Hall of Fame, and that will occur in November. November 15th, 16th weekend, Joe Newendike and I are going in. So right after this, I'm assuming Groobs was so excited about his bestie going into the Dallas Stars Hall of Fame that he gets on the text. Hey, bestie, will you come on the show? And I said, yeah. And he goes, well, the first opening we have is August 11th. And I'm thinking, well, the announcement was a few weeks ago. It's not going to be that sort of newsworthy, but okay, I'll come on with you. Sure. So what day was it, Groobs? Was it Friday or Saturday?
It was sometime last week. I'm trying to find the text
no, it was like Friday or Saturday. And he texts me and says, hey, Mark Cuban says he can come on the show on Monday the 11th. So, go screw yourself. I said, okay, fine. That's how we're doing it. And then he said,
just for the record, I can't tell you how many times Groobs has told me to go screw myself.
Oh, I know. No, and
I'm
we
a
do it
violent
lovingly.
person.
We do it lovingly, so it's fine. But so I see that he sends me like 20 dates. Here, pick one of these. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go through the calendar now. And I don't know where I'm going to be. And, I said, listen, when we get a little closer, why don't you text me and we'll do it then? He said, okay, closer to the date. Then, was it this morning or when did you text me?
Yesterday. Yesterday evening.
Said, Mr. Cuban is unable to attend. Oh. So now you want me. So he said, we'll triple the rate. I said, perfect. 3 times nothing is still nothing.
Wait a minute. We're tripling the rate for this?
As he said, 3 times nothing is still nothing.
For this.
Okay.
Who are we talking about?
We're talking about the CBD House of Healing.
I remember them.
Telling me that we may have crossed paths.
We not only have crossed paths, we played in the same softball team.
Shoot.
Okay. The KZoo softball team, because I was a stud, okay? And
we needed studs. The KZoo softball team needed
were a
studs.
bunch of drunks.
Yeah.
And
we weren't drunk. We were just getting high. That's all. I've just latched on a little bit and done a little bit more to make him like me.
Right.
Who knows where I might be today.
Maybe you'd be in the National Radio Hall of Fame.
Yeah, maybe, but probably not.
When I was growing up, I was in love with Marv Albert doing the Ranger games, New York Ranger games. And people would ask me what I'm going to do when I grew up, and I would tell them I'm going to be the radio announcer for the Rangers. And I met the New York Rangers.
You weren't wrong.
Just wasn't quite specific enough.
I figured it was time for someone to put the dark in your dark companion. So I'm here for.
Believe me,
I'm here for you.
First of all,
I'm here for you.
First of all, I shouldn't touch that. But
that's why I'm here. I could do that. I could do that.
Just for the record,
that Skip is apparently a world-class prankster.
Yes. What is it? Him and Wainwright.
He and Wainwright went
some
back and
epic
forth.
Prank wars.
Adam Wainwright and he are very close friends as well. And I talked to Wainwright last week for the story that I did, and they had a prank where I didn't get this. This is the one story I didn't get into it. Their wives got into it. So apparently, the Skip's wife Lindsay and Adam's wife went out and they bought one of those charms, the heart charms that are
like best
put two
friend.
halves.
Yeah.
Put 2 halves together. Each one gets half of the chain.
Me and Shoopy have one.
And they gave one to each one undercover that they didn't know it was from the wife. They opened the thing and it had it engraving on there. Just so you know you're always with me, like Skip, or just so you know you're always with me, Adam. And the two of them walked around awkwardly for a week, and then they finally said to one another something about the
about this necklace. And I think Skip responded, yeah, I want to talk to you about that. And only then did they figure out that their wives had pulled this on them.
But I can remember the morning after the Sex Pistols show, I came to school and I still had on my black leather pants. I had these $200 black leather pants that I had bought at Judy's at Valley View Mall. They're my punk rock pants, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually was so, like, you know, amped up from the show from the night before that I wore my black leather pants to school the next day. You know, so everyone would ask me about them.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
You look like you were somewhere.
Right. So first period biology class, my biology teacher was Coach Moore, who was a football coach. Okay, and I'm in the back of the room before the bell rang. And I'm telling all the kids, you know, about, yeah, man, last night we saw this English punk rock band and all these people were spitting on each other and jumping up and down like they were on a pogo stick and all that. I could see Coach Moore kind of looking at me from across the room, you know, and the bell rang. And he said, before we start the class today, I think I'm going to let Jeff come up to the front of the class and tell everybody about his Sex Pistol.
His Sex Pistol?
His Sex Pistol. You know, like he'd only kind of heard a few of the words I was talking. He didn't really know what I was talking about, but he'd obviously never heard of punk rock before, you know. And so I walked right up to the front of the room in my black leather pants, and I was like, all right, so last night I went to this country and western place with these two guys from Richardson High School, and Coach Moore was like, stop. Why were you hanging out with people from Richardson High School?
Oh, God.
Because, you know, he's a football coach.
Sure.
They're rivals, you know. And I was like, man, because they're friends of mine. And one of them had a pickup truck, and he drove us down there, you know. So we get there, and these people are jumping up and down and spitting on each other. And Coach Moore looks at me and goes, are you on something right now? I was like, well, I have been up all night, but I'm not on anything.
It's past.
Yeah. So he finally made me go sit down. And then the second period class was world geography. And my teacher, Miss Graham, who was like super hot, like pulls me out into the hallway before class starts. And she goes like, Jeff, those pants are amazing, but don't ever wear them to school again. You're being a distraction. And I was like, that's what punk rock's all about, you know?
Dude, I wish you wore them today.
And I said, oh, man, what could we do? So you just bring it up in the room like, fellas, we need one more 8 count. And the guy goes, well, can we bounce on our butt? And she's like, what? It's like, look, he could bounce, bro, like across the room. And so she goes, oh, my God. And the other guy's like, well, can you do it? And another guy's trying to do it. Some of us was terrible at it.
But what do you think the biggest true crime story we've ever had come out of here is?
I think it's here in Dallas, Texas. November 22nd, 1963.
What happened then?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Come on, Juby.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You want to say?
What happened?
Do I?
Yes.
Do I really?
You're winding up. Come on.
All right.
Is that what I think it is?
Probably.
Yes. Okay.
That was the day where Kennedy finally got it through his head that we didn't like him.
Well, you know what we say in Fort Worth, don't you?
What's that?
He was alive when he left here.
Yeah, hey, you guys get out of this scot-free.
Oh, my.
I mean, you say he was alive when he left here. Who could argue?
Yeah. No.
It was working before you broke it.
Yeah, he got out of the, what hotel was it over there?
Hotel Texas.
Yeah, he got out of the Hotel Texas just fine.
Yeah.
The funny thing was, they go get this bunny costume. It's like the last costume at this costume shop. So it's the most wheels-off bunny costume you've ever seen. It has mittens for hands, and I'm supposed to throw out the first pitch as part of being in costume here. So I put this thing on, and I'm a little taller than the costume, so the pants only come down to about here. And I'm sitting in my cubicle the day before trying to figure out if I can hold a baseball inside of this mitten that I'm wearing. And I realized, and I'm left-handed, so I realized I can hold it, okay. Well, then I put this head on, and there's these two eyes, and I can see this way and I can see this way, but you cannot see straight ahead of me. And so we do the parade, and all these kids are behind us around the warning track before the game, and then they're like, all right, it's time to go throw out the first pitch. And so I go march out to the mound, and I'd worked on holding the ball, And I get out there and I realize I can't see Ed Napoleon. You remember he was our first base coach. He's catching the first pitch that day, okay? And so I get out there on the mound and I realize I can't see Ed. So I took the head and turned it. So the bunny head's looking this way so I can look straight out of the right eye. And I told myself ahead of time, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to throw this thing as hard as I can. I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm just going to try. So I wind up and I threw this thing as hard as I could. The head kind of spins around. I have no idea what happened. So I walk up, and then Ed, you get a picture with the mascot and everything. I don't think we had a mascot back then, but you get a picture with Ed, and he's like, that's a pretty good throw. And he starts laughing, And so later that night, I go home, and I turn on SportsCenter. And if you remember, SportsCenter used to have that great montage when SportsCenter came on of all the day's happenings, and then they'd get into doing highlights, right? And I don't remember who it was. I don't remember which host it was, but the last picture in the montage is this Easter Bunny throwing the first pitch. Right? And whoever it was, what was his name? Carl
Ravitch?
Yeah, maybe. I don't remember. One of them goes, who knew the Easter Bunny was left-handed? And then they got into SportsCenter. And so I can laugh about being in the bunny costume, but I ask how many people have thrown out a first pitch and were featured on SportsCenter because of that first pitch. So there's my bunny costume story.
He's right up there with 50 Cent.
No, my pitch was good. I got it up
left
there
to throw went a little bit better than 50.
So what he's trying to tell us is that's how he earned his job.
Yeah, 52 miles an hour, right on the black. It was perfect.
Do you throw from the mound?
Oh yeah,
I thought
we climb right up on the mound. We don't, but Easter bunnies don't mess around.
I know when I was dressed up as a bunny was only 2 years ago or so, and I was a professional and paid full time. But this was when we were at the Freak and we did it's called Follow the Bunny.
Okay.
And I had to go around in a bunny outfit all over the Metroplex.
Yeah.
Trying to get people to find me.
Oh, and then they'd win some
And they
Rangers
won-
tickets or
yeah,
something. Sure.
yeah.
That's fantastic.
So I felt very, very much like an adult.
Well, I don't know. I think we need Rhines' story about a bunny costume if we were all
Still trying to figure out what his was. We know he wore one at one point.
Yeah, I did wear one at one point, but nobody can remember how, where, when, or why.
We checked in with Grego. Might have to check in with Expo now that we think about it. But it was.
If anybody's going to know, it's him.
But yeah, so we've all worn bunny outfits, and we're all on microphones right now.
That's right. I've got a picture of it somewhere, but it'd probably take me a little bit to find it. So
Well, we can always add it in post.
That's great.
What's OG stand for?
Old guy, I
Old
guess.
guy? Oh, is that it?
I don't know.
I thought it stood for Old Grey Wolf and Grego.
I don't
Old
know.
gangster?
To tell you the truth, it's never been explained to me.
I don't think anyone knows.
We'll figure it out. We'll be back.
How could anybody know?
Around here when we do the OG. This is a scene between Grego and me. And what we do is we flit madly across the panorama of sports, sticking to sports and only to sports. And we talk about that. Talk about that, and only that in a very concise fashion, or as concise a fashion as a couple of blowhards like us are capable of, which is probably not concise at all. In fact, I think I've already bludgeoned the idea of that with just this opening diatribe.
Back on May 29th, you guys did an emergency diamond talk and basically ripped into everybody, and it seems like it worked, or at least for one player.
We did what we had to do. It took us. Nobody else could do this. We did what we had to do. However, we could not have expected the results that have come down so far, because we did have a principal target that day. And that principal target was a guy out of whom much is expected. Over his time here, much has been delivered. But now, not only now, but even going back into last year, things have not been quite the way they were. And we're speaking of Marcus Semien. Now, I said several times in the course of us doing that day, I love Marcus. I love everything about Marcus. He is the epitome to me of what a Major League Baseball player should be. He is a team guy. He is a grinder. He is a leader of men. He is everything you would want in a guy who's got a contract like that, except for the fact that This year he's been terrible. And sure enough, after that emergency session of the OG, he got his ass going, and now there is no player in baseball hotter than Marcus Semien.
Has he thanked you all yet?
Oh, we don't want thanks. Diamond Talk, we're not asking for thanks. We just help people. That's what we do. We're like the Red Cross. We just help people.
Very altruistic.
We're willing to work in the background.
So, but since then, we did the emergency Diamond Talk on May 29th, and since the 30th, he's leading the major leagues in on-base percentage, slugging percentage, and hits. Coincidence? Yeah. I don't think so.
I think not.
I don't think so.
We think not.
But see, we were kind of saying we identified two players that day, he and Garcia, but we were kind of taking different approaches. Because Garcia, we were kind of a more accusatory tone with him, and he seems to have got his hiney in gear too.
Mm-hmm. He's been better for sure,
especially defensively.
Yeah, he's been better. So, coincidence? We think not.
No, it's magic of Diamond Talk.
Yeah.
Good gosh,
oh dear.
They don't know how to keep a house. You got to have a man to keep a house. Learn how to clean it. Sometimes it takes elbow grease. Women don't have elbows.
This is the OG. We do what we want. We don't necessarily explain shit.
We're basically doing a show for you and I. That's it. If you want to listen in, go ahead.
His rationale of he got his fingers confused is the biggest bunch of bullshit I've ever heard.
Oh.
That I gave you a trivia question.
Oh, that's right.
All right, what was it?
Okay, trivia question is Joe Flacco has got a chance to do something only one quarterback in the history of the game.
Oh, yeah.
He has already beat one team, and then he was traded, and he's playing that team again. And if he beats that team, two different teams beating the same team, only one other quarterback in the history has done that. Who is it?
Now, you were telling me earlier that it's an AFL.
Yeah, I kind of gave it away by saying AFL.
No, you didn't give it away because there were a lot of quarterbacks who played in the AFL. You narrowed the field a little bit.
And then I told you that he's kind of known he's more famous for what he did after his playing days than during his playing days.
Okay. Now, that sent me down to what I think is the right path.
You want me to tell you what his first team was?
Let me tell you what it was.
Okay.
Might it have been the Los Angeles Chargers?
It might be, Rhines.
He might be a little bit better known for his time with the Buffalo Bills.
Yes, he would, and also in the U.S. Senate.
Oh. We were speaking of Jack Kemp.
Wow. I knew you'd get that.
He's got one of those soft bodies, and you can put him in.
I believe the word is doughy.
Thank you, Rhines. That's good.
Well, I just sit back in the stands and smoke a cigar and watch all this go down in front of me because I'm a DirecTV stream guy.
Right. So you still had the Rangers when that was all going on.
Yes.
With
and
Valley.
I still got them now, and I got everything else that I've ever had. Everything I want is right there, and you know what? I like it.
Good.
I may pay a little bit more for it, but I like it.
But you're rich too.
I'm getting what I want.
Whoa.
The hell?
Oh,
thank you.
A cigar. What the hell?
I just know in 1998.
Props? Where the hell did you get a cigar from?
Did you bring
Have
that?
You been to Cuba? I don't want a cigar, but thank you.
Did you bring those in here just for the express purpose of knowing that it was going to be referenced today so you could throw it? Yardbirds.
Okay. I wonder who those were.
We're live.
Yes, I know we're live.
Okay.
I know we're live. You think I don't know that?
Well.
And those hockey guys are so tough. I mean, you can have one guy could have a severed leg and walk and carrying it. What's wrong with it? Lower body. Just lower body injury. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Lower body.
We'll take care of it. It's just a lower body thing.
Yeah.
Just a flesh.
It's minor.
Drop
it's
the
minor.
puck. Here we go.
Yeah. And then when the puck drops, they do
He finds a way to not know any of that.
Oh, so he practices the theory of avoidance, huh?
Yes. So y'all would be BFF.
We would be. We could exchange tips on how to practice the theory of avoidance.
Y'all could touch tips.
Yep, we could.
Ooh.
What? Exchange tips. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Gonna have to break him in the hard way.
Hot shit.
It is a humpy number.
But first, I have to say, I like your hair.
I like it too.
Thank you.
Where's my jacket? I'm waiting for the SNL
It's
jacket.
somewhere in the back.
Yeah. We'll go get it in just a second.
Yeah, great. Good.
Hey, everybody. How you doing today? It's time for another episode of Little Your Dark Companion, your favorite podcast, my favorite podcast, everybody's favorite podcast.
From what I understand, this man, though, is responsible for the tuchus of Big Tech's being a little bigger after he burned down that time, back in 2012.
That's true.
I believe they now call Big Tech's butt the Mitch.
A few people. That's not an authorized nickname, though. So
we'll keep that in mind.
Is Big Tech's bigger Tex now after that?
He is actually. He's a little bit bigger, about 3 feet taller, and yes, he had a very flat posterior,
like a Hank Hill butt.
I seem to remember that.
Yeah, and it's still a little, but I asked that it be, plumped up a little bit, and it just didn't look normal. So now it looks a little bit more normal, and so
I am high as shit.
And you've heard this before too. You need to make love to the call letters. And she said there.
No, actually, I haven't heard that.
Well, if you'd worked at the Oasis.
Hard as steel and still getting harder. Ladies and gentlemen, the hard line.
The more I listened, the more I thought, I don't know what the hell this is. I mean, I really did. It's like, it's like, I'm not sure, but what I did know is that there was chemistry. Like there was this immediate feeling of, a bunch of guys that actually really liked to hang out together. And I didn't know if it was real or manufactured or, luck or planned or spontaneous, but it was unlike anything I had ever heard before. I mean, I'd heard many shows with great chemistry, but this was the whole station. Like it had this continual, ongoing brotherhood. It was a fraternity, and all the things we used to use for liners on the air. It was a Tupperware party for guys. It was a fraternity. it was the toy section, but then there was a lot going on, as there always is in this town, with the sports teams. And the minute you would be, man, I don't know if these guys, they don't seem serious about anything. And then a big story would happen to be like, oh, shit, they know what they're talking about.
You'd find out how serious we could be.
These guys can cover sports. Like, they know everything about everything that's happening, and they're on top of it. And so it was like trying to understand all of that. And I think it's really good that it was completely different, and I didn't really understand it, because it allowed me to say to myself, why am I going to go try to, put a bunch of philosophies on these guys or tell them everything I've ever learned? Because I was still pretty young and I hadn't learned it all. I was like, I need to really just listen to this for a little longer and understand it before I even make a comment, because it wouldn't be fair to all the work you guys had put into it up to that point, in my opinion. It's like I need to get caught up on what's what and talk to everybody off the air and figure out, why are they doing this? What's it mean to them? What's your purpose? What are you trying to accomplish? And man, the other part is that it once I got in the building, it was contagious, that attitude, that bunker mentality, that, we're in this together, and we kind of feed off of people saying this is never going to last. Because you were 3 years in and everyone was still saying this is never going to last.
Yeah.
Even the people who said it wouldn't last 6 months or a year, 3 years later were still saying, well, it's never going to last. Well, it's been here 3 years.
I was feeling pretty good about it at that point.
Yeah. I think, well, you would think about how much you'd already survived.
Yeah.
The 2 different ownership changes. Mm-hmm. There was a lot that happened in those first 3 years. And none of you, as I recall, were, getting rich.
No.
It was still a labor of love.
Yes,
at
it
that
was.
point. Yeah.
It was a labor of love. And also, the other thing was we were doing it because it was really all we had. I mean, everybody else was in a different place. They were underlings over at those places. They could have gone back to those places, continued to be underlings, and then none of it ever happens.
That's a really great point, Rhines.
But I mean, everybody saw this. This is our one big chance here.
When I called in your radio show that one time?
Yes, I do.
I did. And I've never done that in my life. I'm driving around and was it you and Grego?
Yeah, it was me and Grego.
They were banging on Benji Gill. They were, and I go, I've had enough. And I've had enough. I'm calling in and got through.
Did you just call the regular line?
I called whatever number that
787-1310.
Whatever
awesome.
it was, and someone answered it, and I told them who I was, and next thing you know, I was on the air with these guys.
What'd you say to them?
I don't
verbatim.
really remember what I said, other than
I guarantee you we were, Mr. Bouchel, of course.
I don't think
we love Benji Gill,
We were just having fun on the radio. We're so sorry. Please be our friend.
I had enough. It was funny. I love Benji, and he was a young kid at the time, and I don't know. I was just defending him. That's all.
What a good person.
Being the veteran guy,
Do you hate me for that?
Never. Not at all. I mean, you guys have a job to do. You guys, as long as you're fair, right? I mean, as long as you're fair.
We probably weren't.
I was going to say, that's kind of the problem.
But anyway,
fairness was really our strong
Had to live
point.
up to
that's
that
the
hardline name.
only time I've ever done that, too. It was pretty funny. That was pretty funny.
A radio personality story, okay, at the ticket. But if not my favorite, one of my favorites. So we had a GM, Dan Bennett, who was always a little nervous, okay? And I was a manager that would stay later. So I could be there 7, 8, 9 o'clock. So Dan Bennett unfairly said, hey, I need you to kind of watch the halls, make sure everything's okay, It was like, okay, all right,
Sure.
I'll do that. So once a week he would ask me, I said, it's all great. So it was one night and I'm in my office, and the door to get to the ticket studio, you had to walk by it. So I'm there and I see someone walk by me, and it's like, wait a minute, I know who that person is. It was Dan Haggerty, who was Grizzly Adams on TV. So it's like, okay, that's all right. Big Dick Hunter, who was on evenings, who still today, I think he's one of the most genius, underrated radio personalities there ever was. So Dan Haggerty goes in, and it's like, okay. Another guy comes in about 5 minutes later, and it's like, wait, I know who that guy is. It was Dennis Huff, the guy that owned the hooker place in Vegas. The Bunny Ranch.
Yeah.
So that was that. So it's like, I'm not sure what's going on, but still okay, it's still all that. So then a couple minutes later, freaking Ron Jeremy walks by my office. And I go, okay, maybe I should start going here. I'm not going to tell Dan Bennett that Ron Jeremy and, the guy that owns the Bunny Ranch are here. Well, but I had, it was like, I'm still doing it. Then all of a sudden, the door opens. I don't see, but it was 5 little people, females, that walked by my office. And I said, oh, crap, I'm getting out of here. There is no freaking way I'm telling Dan Bennett about that. Don't know what happened. Never said I knew what it was until today. I told my wife, this is the first time I ever told that story in public.
Well, you can rest easy. I don't think anybody was none the worse for the wear on account of it.
And that's where I was dubbed the Saint by the morning man, Wes Gibson. That's where I got the nickname the Saint.
Oh, really?
So, because Christopher, my last name, which is my confirmation name in Catholic Dubuque, where you have to kiss the ring and slap the Pope, not the Pope, the bishop or whatever to get a third name. So I officially dropped my last name when I got married to my Hungarian Ukrainian wife, who had a name about like what do they say, eye chart, a name that long. And so I officially dropped my last name and just became Christopher. But at that time in 75, Wes started calling me the Saint. Then we find out later, because we didn't know this, but the 1973 album by Bruce Springsteen, Greetings from Asbury Park,
has a song in there called "It's Hard to Be a Saint in the City,"
Yeah.
and then "Lost in the Flood," that big epic 9-minute cut. There's a line in there that says he leaned on the hoods of racing cars telling stories, and the kids called him Jimmy the Saint. And that was in 73. And this was in 75 when Wes started calling me the Saint. But we didn't know about that. The Bruce album.
Yeah.
I think, was the Born to Run album out then?
No, the Asbury Park came before.
Right, in 73. But when was Born to Run out?
That was like 74, I want to say.
Yeah, 70, that was the one we're familiar with. I wasn't familiar with at that time with Asbury Park because that came out in 73, Asbury Park did. So I didn't know about Jimmy the Saint, It's Hard to Be a Saint in the City, or the Jimmy the Saint line in Asbury Park. Wes just started calling me that because of St. Christopher, which was my confirmation name, growing up Catholic. So that's how I got the Saint.
I just figured that was something that somebody attached to you just because it's a very normal, logical procession.
See, a lot of people don't know that.
There was
Somebody asked
really
me,
no real backstory there, but there is.
Rude.
Back in the day on KLIF, in its halcyon days, as the top 40 radio beast
of the
Dallas market.
Yes.
People don't know, they don't understand that anymore, but back in the day, KLIF was just huge.
They had 60% of every person listening to the radio listening to them.
Yeah.
So 6 out of 10 radios were tuned in to KLIF. 6 out of every 10. It was insane.
They call themselves the Mighty 1190.
Mighty
Boy,
1190.
that's exactly what it was, too.
I have 50,000 watts broadcasting out of a tower in Grand Prairie, Texas.
50,000 watts of power.
And then KLIF 1190. We remember, brother. Yeah. And everybody over 60 probably does too.
God, I wanted to do that for so long.
I remember those Q versus Zoo wars.
Yes, you at Q102, me at Zoo. And I remember a lot of meetings we had at the Zoo. And a lot of talking where ratings were about to come out. And we just knew that everything was so on point. The music was right where it should be. We had great air personalities and everything like that. And we just knew that this was going to be the time we jump ahead of them. And that time never came.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. And I liked LaBella and I liked Rhodey both. LaBella his wife used to play bunco with Deborah and all her friends. And she was on their bunco
Deborah
squad.
being your wife,
yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we just never could crack the code on it. And I would think about it all the time and just figure out, okay, what are they doing that we're not? What's going on over there that we don't have?
Everybody in radio has thought that every single time.
Yes.
Everybody.
And the conclusion I came to, and I still stand by it to this day, is that if you're going to succeed in radio, if you've got a radio show that's going to succeed, you got to have good chemistry together.
Yeah. Well, that's why I knew Jimmy from New Orleans. That's why we played.
You had chemistry already developed and already built, and probably from day one at Q102, you guys understood each other.
Yeah.
You knew what each other was going to do. You knew what he was there for. He knew what you were there for.
Everybody knew their role.
Yeah,
you didn't have to say anything.
Yeah, everybody knew their roles. And for whatever reason, we just never really had that at the Zoo.
Us go on a date at Albernay. Remember that?
Yeah.
Before the
whole
switchy
crew.
switch.
Right.
No, before the switchy switch, they made us go on a top secret date.
Oh.
They're like, I think you guys need to go talk about some stuff.
Okay.
All right. And we got it all figured out.
Yeah, sure.
Damn.
And you see the result.
That's right. Everyone got fired.
less than a year.
Mike and I got everyone fired.
Yeah.
Yep, we did.
We just
But we got to know each other in days when I was working at KRLD, and we were up in the press box in Arlington, like I said, the old back of the bus days up there, and the reason why he dubbed it the back of the bus was because you had the main press box, which wasn't that large anyway at Arlington Stadium, but they only had room for, as Brad Cham liked to call them, the ink-stained wretches. Actually, he got that from Blackie Sherrod.
Yes.
The ink-stained wretches, which would be beat writers like Phil Rogers and Tracy Ringlesby and Jim Reeves.
Of course, the great Jerry Fraley.
And then the columnist, Randy Galloway, would be in there. So you would have that, and there was a room for them, but for the local radio and television reporters and personalities, we were in the auxiliary press box, which was down the right field line. And that's where we were sitting the night that O.W. McDowell hit for the cycle.
Yes.
And so that was, we were in the back of the bus, down the right field line.
The Rangers constructed this big building down the right field line. And I don't know this, but I think the idea was to sell suites in it.
Yep.
And that never really materialized too much.
So it was a place to stuff the excess media.
Yeah.
What did Brad call him again?
The ink-stained wretches were and then the radio people were talking dogs. For years, Brad had a license plate was TLK Dog. Because Blackie Sherrod had bestowed that upon him. The late, great Blackie Sherrod said, you guys are talking dogs. Talking dogs were radio or TV personalities. Ink-stained wretches were the writers.
Hello, everyone. I'm Groobs. I hope you've been enjoying our best of, and we're closing in on the end of this thing, but we've had a bunch of big-name guests this year. I can't even name all of them, but we've had guys like Mark Cuban, Eric Nadel,
Abraham Lincoln, John Paul Getty. It's been a heck of a lineup.
Has been a heck of a lineup. This rogues gallery that we've got. We got Kevin Minch over there. You heard him on Your Dark Companion just a couple of days ago. And now here is Chuck Greenberg, the owner of the Frisco Rough Riders. Hi, boys.
That's what it says on my ID.
I feel like I should talk.
This is Ziggy of Beer Dark 30 Sports. Beer 30 Dark Sports.
Oh, maybe leave the dark out of it.
Usually funny behind the scenes, but that's just, Mark had all these like Cyrano de Bergerac ideas for Mario to do.
Yeah.
Now, Mark may deny this, but I say this all lovingly because, I said to Mark, listen, you and Mario, it's not going to happen. And remember, I'm just like a lawyer in a suit at this point, which had 2 strikes against me. So I don't think Mark thought much of me back then, and I don't blame him. But I said, listen, Mark, but there's no doubt in my mind you're going to be an owner. You'll be a great owner. But, you got to do it your own way in your own voice. You got to get your own team. You're just not meant to, tell other people you need to do this yourself, And he's like, yeah, whatever, suit,
How did you first run across Donald and Walter? Or Donald or Walter?
Donald Fagen and Walter Becker.
Yeah, Donald Fagen and Walter Becker. They're in Steely, Dan, in case you don't know.
There was a band called The Bead Game that was a Boston band, a guitar player, and John Sheldon, really great player. The whole band was great. And the producer was a gentleman named Gary Katz, who were friends with Becker and Fagen.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me if I would come down to New York, because I was commuting from Boston in New York to do sessions. So will I come down and do a session with a lady named Linda Hoover? And so I said, oh, okay. So I went down there, and Walter Becker and Donald Fagen were writing a lot of the material for that record. So when we started playing it, I was really impressed. The music was great. And playing it was a lot of fun. And afterwards, they said, well, we never really heard anybody play guitar like that on our music. And I said, well, I've never really heard any music like this. It's pretty amazing. So the idea was whoever got their nose under the tent first would call everybody else, and we'd try to form a band. So Becker and Fagen got a publishing deal with ABC Records ABC Dunhill Records in California that Gary Katz had helped create.
Yeah.
And so we said, okay, let's form a band. So they were friends with a really great guitar player named Denny Diaz. And they said, we need a lead singer and a drummer. So I suggested the drummer from the Beat Game, Jimmy Hodder, who was a great vocalist as well, and a singer named David Palmer, who was in a band with a guitar player named Rick Phelps, and another fabulous guitar player from New York. And anyway, so that's kind of how we formed the band.
So you brought David Palmer and Jim Hodder into the band. Wow, okay. Didn't know that. This is amazing. I'm loving this.
Wanted to say, as the afternoon guy on the one last classic rock station in Dallas-Fort Worth, who does play probably 6 Eagles songs in the course of 3 hours while I'm on the air in the afternoons. We're all really proud of you, brother.
Yeah, man.
It's really cool that you're playing
I really
with the
appreciate
Eagles.
you guys. So it's been a...
And I remember
You're
you
a
from the
civic
days
treasure,
of-
man. We all know it. You are a civic treasure.
Yeah. So it's so cool to talk about the Eagles on the radio and say, by the way, go to the Sphere, see Chris. Chris is from Dallas. Yes.
Henley lives
the beautiful
here too.
part of it for me is that I
Henry's a
grew up
Dallas
a fan. I grew up a fan of, I was learning those guitar parts in my bedroom when I was 14 years
Wow.
old. You know, the first song I ever played in front of people at a camp, at a summer camp, was Hotel California. And now I play the solo and, you know, at the Sphere. And
that ain't easy.
No, it's tricky to get it right. And so it is a dream gig for a guitar player, especially somebody like me who grew up in the classic rock era. And the songs are just brilliant. You know, I mean, you can't argue with those songs. You come see the show at the Sphere, and the 20 songs we play, you know every single one of them. And it's like, damn, that is a lot of great
Victim of
songwriting.
Love has my favorite line of any song in it. I could be wrong, but I'm not.
Victim of Love. It's a great one.
I know you're locked in when you're playing. You know, you have that professionalism side, right? You're locked in and playing these songs. But do you ever take a moment and just go, "Holy shit! I'm playing guitar for the Eagles."
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that,
No, that's what's
happen?
nice about the songs where I don't have to work as hard. Because if there's a song where I can kind of settle in and just play a little rhythm guitar, I can sit there and relax a little and enjoy just the surreal aspect of it. Where it's
your first gig.
Again, it's like, how did I get here? I have said for years that I'm the luckiest musician in the world because
it makes people happy.
I've just fallen into these opportunities, and obviously
You don't fall into those opportunities.
You've earned it. There's
You get
a
it
certain
because
amount
you're good.
of preparation and skill, but there's a ton of luck involved. There's so much luck involved.
Well, luck
And
is what happens when preparation meets opportunity.
There you go.
But what happened was he struck out Ricky Henderson for the 5,000, and all of the Rangers left their positions and sprinted to the mound. And I'm on radio, I'm painting a word picture. It would not have been right to just shut up when this amazing thing is happening on the field and people are running from all points of the field to the mound. So even though my original idea was I was going to shut up for 30 seconds or whatever, I had to describe that.
And in the point of your game, because that was back when Mark Holtz did the first 3 innings, you did the middle 3, so you guys didn't know when that 5,000
That's
was
right.
going to happen.
I just happened to get lucky.
And so it was in the middle 3 innings, and so did it occur to you that, hey, this is going to be mine now?
That day, I was pretty sure it was going to be mine. I think he needed 6 strikeouts, if I remember right. So it was a pretty good chance it was going to happen in the 4th, 5th, or 6th inning.
Was there ever any talk of Mark saying, Eric, I'm going to take that 4th today?
Not at all. He wasn't that way at all.
Really?
And when you talk about gravitas,
Because
Ryan,
other play-by-play guys have big-footed.
Oh, for sure.
absolutely.
Milo Hamilton, specifically. But Mark was the greatest at the dramatic moments. And the Rangers weren't playing meaningful games at that time, but still, when you got to the end of the game and the game was on the line, there was nobody better than Holtzy at setting the mood. And I just regret that he never got to do playoff games. He never got to do World Series games because that would have just been phenomenal. And, he would have won the Ford Frick Award if he'd had the opportunity, if he'd stuck around long enough.
Much too soon.
I find that scripting doesn't work for me.
And what Eric's describing is a perfect example of why. You got to let the game come to you.
But, Brad, you had to know on the Emmitt Smith. I mean, you knew that for a long time. What was your thought process?
My thought process was people were asking me in training camp, what are you going to say?
Because it wasn't a real good play.
It was a terrible play. It was I can use any language here I want. It was a horseshit play. The worst. What I knew, Grego, was that whenever it happened, I was going to somehow make reference to Walter Payton.
Yeah.
Partly because I knew how much Walter Payton meant to Emmitt. The play itself was stumbling, he's bouncing off bodies, he put his hand on the ground, is his knee down, I don't know. And we're counting, believe me, we're counting not yards, we're counting steps. Bob Thomas has been my statistician for like 40 years. And we started, and I said, when the season starts, don't miss a yard. We've got to, when this happens, we got to be on it. And which I didn't have to say to Bob. But we don't know. He needed 6 yards. He's got 4. He got 4.5. He's down. Parenthetically, the next week, I did the Texas A&M game on Westwood 1, and Ricky Williams broke what was then Tony Dorsett's NCAA career rushing, and he did it with a 40-freaking-yard touchdown.
We're at number 37.
And I believe I said at the end of it, well, that's how you do that. But I knew that whenever it happened, I was going to somehow incorporate Walter Payton into the call. I had no idea that I was going to say
the sweetness,
move over sweetness, make
so
a place
good.
for Emmitt. It has to come to you.
Well, what about and all three of you guys have called a championship, and Chuck, it became apparent that the Mavs were going to win this thing with a few minutes left in the game. What were you thinking then?
Well, I did say with a minute to go and Dirk hit that layup to put them up 11, they're going to win the championship. They're not going to blow an 11-point lead in the last minute. It's not going to happen. But, again, like Brad said, you think about the moment, but you don't script the moment. And so my last moment when they dribbled out the clock and the game is over is what's the hardest thing in the world to do? And it's climb Mount Everest. And I was thinking of Edmund Hillary and thinking that, here the Mavericks have scaled the NBA playoff mountain and have planted their flag like Edmund Hillary did in 1954. And that was my thought process.
That's why he's the higher authority. I never once thought of Edmund Hillary.
What about you?
But it's just what's the hardest thing to do. And that's where it came from.
What were you, Eric? What were the bigger odds? A kid from Brooklyn being one of the 32 play-by-play guys, or calling a World Series championship after 40 years with the Rangers?
Yeah, it's a good question. And that day, the day of the fifth game, we were very confident the Rangers were going to win, even though, they had blown it in 2011 with the 3-2 lead, but 3-1. And we had Evaldi pitching that night, and Jared and Matt and I, we talked during the day. We all felt really confident the Rangers were winning that night. And I'm just thinking, I can't believe this. This is like surreal, I'm at work walking around in a dream world. And
did you have any thought of walking around old Arlington Stadium at that time?
I thought about all that stuff. And all of the suffering we did, all the bad baseball,
Port Charlotte,
the playoff series against the Yankees where they couldn't win a game. They lost 9 straight games to the Yankees in the playoffs over 3 years. All of that stuff came back to me, and it really was like I was in a dream. And I wrote down on a little piece of note paper in the Arizona Biltmore, "You're not dreaming." And I stuck it in my wallet. And then when Marcus Semien hit the home run in the top of the 9th inning, basically to clinch that game, I pulled that thing out of my wallet and I put it down on the table on my scorebook so that when I called the final out, no matter what it was I was saying, at some point I would say, "Ranger fans, you're not dreaming."
Do you still have that? They call that.
We auctioned it off. We auctioned it off along with my headset from that game. We auctioned off that piece of note paper. And so, no, I don't have it anymore. Money went to a charity, and it went for a good cause.
Better cause. Better cause, for sure.
Kimi ga yo wa chi
it's a Kichi no Hiyachi ni Sazare Ishi no Iwa o tonarite Koken no Mushumade.
Wow.
Dude.
That's it. Look at that.
All right,
Just for a
Shoopy, you
second
do it.
in there, I thought you were gonna mention Ichiro.
All you want, buddy. I do.
Okay, hit us with one.
We talked about Nowhere But Texas. I'll do that one for you.
Okay.
Let's do that. I co-wrote this with a couple of guys in the Texas scene. And I'm very thankful for the Rangers for doing this for me. At the 10-year anniversary of the song, I redid it acoustically and put a video out there and had a bunch of my buddies come sing it with me. And I had like Troy Aikman in the video, and Troy's always been so supportive of me. He's a great dude. I love that guy. He's sang this with me a couple times on different occasions. So I'll do this one. Blue bonnets, a yellow rose. Remember the Alamo. Chisholm Trail, longhorn steers. Lukenbach, Abilene, Texas Rangers, and Judge Roy Bean, and ice cold Texas beer. Nowhere but Texas, well, that's where I'll be. It holds the answers to all my dreams. Well, I know one thing, when God calls me, nowhere but Texas is where I'll be.
All right, how's everybody doing? How you doing, Shoopy?
I'm good, Shoopy. I'm a little off my game because our friend Carrie, Mr. Freak Jesus, is here and seems to be clean shaven again. I don't know why he does this, but he used to have the longest beard. Like, he's basically the model of this shirt right here.
Yeah.
And he comes here and he looks like a baby. A sweet Jesus baby.
I haven't seen him yet.
He's like right behind the light, essentially, but he's coming up here. We might have to get him on. Here, Carrie, come up behind us for just a second.
These lights are really bright.
Yeah. Look at that.
That's him?
Yes.
Oh, my God. That's you?
Yeah.
That's you?
Wow.
Because, Grego, have you met Carrie before?
You're a good-looking guy, man.
Never have.
No, you met me, but I had the beard.
Oh, is that right?
Like,
Okay.
Serious beard.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, you wouldn't recognize me without it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a good-looking guy.
Right? He always is, but, like, you can actually see his face, and it's nice.
Thank you.
Love Bubba.
All right, you can go now.
Oh. Jeez.
Well, we're down here on a place that I never thought I would be. We are on the field at Globe Life Field, within mere feet of us to our right here. The Brewers are having infield practice prior to their game with the Texas Baseball Rangers. And this is my first time
to ever be on the field here. Over at the Temple, I was on the field so many times, I can't even count them all. Same for the old ballpark, but this is the first time I've ever been down here in this place, and man, this is big. And here we are in the best seats in the house. How do I know? Well, because this is where Bruce Bochy sits during a game. This is where high-level baseball decisions are made. He is sitting here watching this out there in a game on the field. I'm down here on the field. I'm the triple super fake Jared Sandler. And from this, Rangers pregame and postgame will emanate live tonight, except I will be no part of either one. So enjoy.
The sports.
Well, for those who haven't heard as of yet, and were wondering just what we're talking about on this Saturday night news dump, it was Saturday night, probably a little bit
11:12 p.m.
11:12, okay.
Is when Shams Charania first broke the news.
Right. There appeared on Twitter a note from what's his name?
Shams Charania. I believe I pronounced it right.
Charania.
That's
yeah,
such
I'm
a
not
fake
sure.
name. I've never heard of it.
I'm not sure I'm saying that right, but he is one of the NBA guys for The Athletic.
ESPN now.
Oh, for ESPN?
Yeah, he took over for Woj.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it only happened fairly recently.
that's right, because we have no more Woj bombs.
Yeah.
Woj has gone straight.
Mm-hmm. He got a straight gig.
Yes, he did get a straight gig. Well, anyway, Shams broke the news to all of us that there'd been a trade underway in the NBA.
Yeah. Says breaking. The Mavericks are trading Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. And he later had to follow up with, yes, this is real. Because everybody is saying that they had to double-check if it was his real account, if it wasn't one of those like parody accounts, and, oh, it's real.
I wouldn't have believed it.
I wouldn't have believed it either.
I'd have just kept scrolling, got, right, Mavericks trading Luka. That'd have been my attitude.
Yeah, like we had our little group chat going, the Stolen Water group chat, and Ashley and everybody's like, when I posted that tweet, they're like, okay, what are you doing, groups? Like, why are you doing a bit on Saturday night at 11 p.m.? Like, how could this be real? And Yvonne was despondent. They made the majority sad.
I didn't believe it for sure until I did the only thing I could do to find out what was really going on, or if there really was really anything to this, and that was text Skin and ask him. And my text was 3 words: is this real? His text back to me was 2 words: yes, indeed. So, okay, it's on. Luka Doncic is on. He is gone. Just like I always told you he would be.
You said he wouldn't stay.
I've been waiting for this.
Oh, yeah. He was the first person I thought of.
I've been waiting for this.
I'm not taking any kind
Yes,
of credit.
you are.
No, I'm not. I'm not taking any kind of credit, seeking any kind of glory for this, because I don't like this, man. I don't like the fact that Luka is not a Maverick anymore.
But would you ever thought it was via trade that he wouldn't be a Maverick and not being the bad guy and leaving Dallas?
No, I wouldn't have.
With more than a year left on his contract.
When I used to irritate all the little Mavericks fanboys out there by every time his name would come up on the radio, I would say, you do know he's not going to stay, don't you? Every time I used to irritate them with that, That's what I meant.
You had me
I thought the way this was going to end was he would stay here until he just couldn't take anymore because they couldn't put a good team around him. And he finally became convinced that if he was ever going to win and was ever going to get a chance to play for a championship and maybe even win one, he was going to have to go somewhere else. And then in free agency, he would leave here, and that would be that. I did not think it was going to be like this. So I'm taking no real credit for this today because I was only half right here.
That's pretty good, though, being half right.
They are all absorbed by the Cowboys press conference.
Huge.
It's going.
Huge.
You want to hear it? Listen in a little?
Let's listen in just a little bit.
The hell sound was that?
Water bottles, it looks like.
Okay.
Oh, Jerry.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Gosh, that is.
Yeah.
There's one reason and only one reason that we did that, and that is so Shoopy could play a fart drop.
Look, I now have the ability to play farts over a Jerry press conference without being yelled at.
Yes,
it's kind of
you do.
awesome.
That's huge.
We tried doing that once at the ticket, and all of a sudden, it's like, no, you can't do that.
We take sports very seriously.
Right.
That's right. We do. Why are we doing this? Well, because while we were doing our fantasy football draft, news was made. Let me read just to make sure I don't get anything wrong. The Dallas Football Cowboys have traded four-time Pro Bowl edge rusher Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers. In exchange, the Cowboys received three-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle Kenny Clark and two first-round draft picks, 2026, 2027. Parsons agreed to a 4-year, $188 million contract with the Packers that includes $120 million fully guaranteed at signing and $136 million in total guarantees. That makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. So, this did not end like I thought it was going to end. I thought that it would play out for a while and everybody would be talking about it. And then somewhere between now, the start of the season, they'd get everybody in there. Everybody would get their head right. They'd get him signed. He may or may not tell people he was happy, but the thing is, he would be signed and he would be here. And now we see that that's not how this is going to go, Norm.
Well, 4 weeks ago on my podcast on Sunset Lounge, I said this felt very different to me than Dak or CD. These people started bitching each other, and I mean big time, personal. And Parsons doing insulting things, lying down on the medical table, not wearing his jersey, saying, oh, it's my back, I've got to go see another doctor. And Jerry giving us God knows how many stories about the negotiation. Well, Mike, I'm not sure this wasn't where the Cowboys wanted to go all the time. That they let this get personal and public so that their fans would understand, well, they had to trade Micah. The Cowboys have a major problem. They have screwed up their salary cap. And adding Parsons next year at $45, $46, $47 million a year, this team would have been screwed. I'm not sure this is the outcome they wanted all along.
This is all well and good, and I think that all does make sense. You know, when I was having internal conversations with myself, I would wind up a lot of the time in that general area. But, Grego, how do they make this right with their fans?
They can't. They just simply can't. I mean, you've got a Metroplex that's just now coming down from the Luka trade, and that does factor in here because it is sports fans you're talking about. And there is a lot of Maverick fans that are Cowboy fans, right?
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, you've had two generational players traded. They weren't in the mood for this.
I don't know how they recover.
Who were some of the guys that you liked?
I tell you what, there's just a million of them, and a guy like Buddy Bell, I really loved him, but right on down the line, those early Rangers, Toby Harrah and guys like that, but then right on through, Fergie Jenkins comes here, just the greatest, and Al Oliver, same way. I mean, I'd heard when he got here, I'd heard he had a reputation for being cantankerous or whatever. No, I never found him that way. I don't think any other writer here did either. But then as we moved, Mickey Rivers, loved Mickey Rivers. I still list him as one of my all-time favorites. And, you get to the Cowboys and, getting to know Troy Aikman as a raw rookie and then watching him develop over the years, I appreciate just watching that and watching what happened. Michael Irvin, I still say maybe one of my all-time favorites. Like in this latest thing on Netflix now that's out, Mike, I mean, Michael Irvin, it may be the best on there just for flat-ass honesty. I mean, he says things. I'm even going, Michael, you probably shouldn't have said that. But I mean, that's just Michael. Always a great quote. Always a guy that could size up the situation for you with a great quote. And people read a Galloway column and they're going, boy, that's good. Well, the main reason it was good because Michael had given me good stuff. Or if they say, that column sucked, then I could go, well, Michael he didn't have his good stuff today. But so many. I mean, Daryl Johnson, God, right on, Jason Witten. I mean, Nate Newton. And, I love the fact that the Nate Newton story to become what he became on the football field and all his problems off the field and everything else. And now look at him today. And I mean, you can turn a life around, quite frankly. Now, Michael was a guy Michael Irvin, I got to say this. I mean, I've never seen a better teammate. In any sport, I've never seen a better one. But then you take him off the field and God knows where he was going to go or what he was going to do or the trouble that he was going to get in. But teammate, you always wanted Michael. You always wanted Michael on your team, without a doubt.
Yeah, I always found him to be just amazing to talk to. Amazing because he was personable, he was funny, he was smart, but he knew what he was doing. He knew how to work the media. I mean, he came.
Whoa, without a doubt.
He came here knowing that.
He did. He had that. He always said deep in the Miami hood is where he was raised, but there must have been somebody in the hood that had some common sense because Michael has a lot of that. Again, on the football field, and sometimes common sense escaped him when he got on the streets, if you know what I mean.
Yep. Yeah, it did. Who was on the business end of the biggest cussing out you've ever given?
Jay Ratliff.
Really?
Yes. Me and Jay were been feuding all year. That year we got to and they had a game in Chicago. So the D-line played terrible. So I ripped the D-line. Sorry, I had to do what I had to do. So Chris Canny, I went to talk to Chris Canny like a couple days later. This is when players read everything. They still read everything, but they really read everything then. So Chris Canny goes, we had a meeting about you. Oh, that's cool.
What a great guy Calvin is.
Nice to be thought of. We're not talking to you. I said, what do you mean? We're not talking to you. So I was like, whatever, dude. So I tried to talk to Jay Ratliff. He says, get the bleep away from me. I said, what? Get blah, 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 blah. So we get into this argument. I let it go. So I try to go back to talk to him again. Get away from my locker. Now it's my ego. Now I'm trying to be a man now. I'm trying to be a big tough guy. I go, no, I'm not moving. It'd be like me standing in front of the house here and you say, get off my porch. No, I'm not moving.
Well,
we might have to recreate that after the show. Like, no.
So I tell Jay, no, I'm not moving. And he said, what'd you say? So there was some profanity there. I didn't think we'd use profanity here. So
you can cuss.
So we're cussing. So he like get to my face. And now Jay's like this, and I'm like a little person to Jay, obviously. So then the PR guy breaks us up, and Jay is hot. Jay, I think I think he needed medication, but maybe I needed medication too. But we argue and cussing each other out, and then they break us up, and then they kick me out of the locker room, and Jay was hot. So was I. So that was the only cussing out I really did.
Haven't said anything about Dirk so far today, and then we can't let you get out of here without talking about him and what he meant.
Oh, everything. That's why there's a statue.
Yeah.
You know, I tried to build one outside the ticket of you, but they wouldn't let me. No.
Let's get back on that. They'd love it.
Yeah. But I mean, can you put into words exactly what
just a good friend,
the guy means?
Guy. I mean, just a heart of gold. What makes Dirk special is not just what he did on the court, not just how he did it, but just what a good guy he is. I mean, you know, when I first bought the team, it was Dirk, Finn, and Nash, and they basically taught me how to interact with fans. Because I had no idea. You know, they grew up being, you know, idolized and, you know, the superstar. I was just some schlub from Pittsburgh who bought the team. And, you know, how they treated fans taught me how to treat fans. And, you know, and since then, you know, as it taught me how to teach my kids how to react to people because they see how I react to them. And I think that is as special about Dirk as anything. Just how he connects to and relates to and respects everybody. You know, he might talk some shit in German under his breath, but he's going to be nice to you and you're not going to know it.
Stuart Scott once told me, he goes, Menchie, always remember bald is beautiful. I said, okay. So then I've just run with it.
The Stuart Scott?
Mm-hmm. The Stuart Scott. Back in the days when I was important.
I think you're important now, Kevin.
Just today.
I think we're all important in our own way.
True. Very true. So, yeah.
Best example, and I actually said this in social media the other day, is that if you want to see an outfit or you want to see the results of what happens when you forget about your customer, I give you the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're going to sit there and tell me that you had no idea that your fan base was going to absolutely go through the rafters at getting rid of a generational player, then you have no business being a general manager of a hardware store, let alone an NBA franchise.
What got Mikko Rantanen here?
Well, it started with obviously him getting traded by Colorado, which I think took everybody by surprise. He gets traded to the East to the team in North Carolina. Why am I drawing a blank?
Hurricanes.
The Hurricanes. Yeah, exactly. He gets traded to the Hurricanes and didn't really want to stay there for whatever reason. And I remember 2 weeks, before the trade deadline, Jim came to me and said, I think we can get Mikko Rantanen. And I was like, are you serious? And, he mapped out how we thought we could do this. And then there were obviously discussions about the trade and who we were going to have to give up. And so anyway, the night before the trade deadline, I thought it was done. And we had a game that night. We were playing at the AAC. I thought it was done. I think as now the next morning when I came in there at 9 o'clock in the morning, things had changed. He walked into my office and said, I think it's dead. The money's not going to work. And so I was like, okay. And turned out Jim had been up most of the night talking to Carolina, talking to the agent about trying to get it all done. By 9:45, he was back in my office saying, I think it's done. I need you to call the owner. We need to talk about the money. And it was by 11:30, it was done. And it was in the circulation to get passed through by the NHL. So we went from 9 o'clock in the morning to not having it done. By 11:30 it was done. And I remember talking to Tom on the phone, and he asked me about the trade. What do you think? And I said, Tom, I think this guy can help us win the Stanley Cup, and I know that's what you want. And here we are.
Here we are indeed.
So 1994, I didn't go to the draft. I wasn't, blue chip. It wasn't a big name. I was lucky to get a D1 scholarship. So when my mom woke me up that fateful Sunday morning, says this particular year was in Hartford. Hartford still had a team. They did the first 2 rounds on TV, and then the GMs all go and get drunk, and then they wake up at 8 and just start picking guys, the schleps. And I was 5th round pick, so I was on the probably 10:30 a.m. schlep call. I was sleeping. I was in a waterbed when I got drafted. Right? Started to date myself now.
It was the 90s.
All right.
I like the attention to detail here.
I could throw some more. I'm going to leave a few parts out, but my mom came downstairs. I had a basement room.
Did he have a lava lamp?
No lava lamp. No. I don't want to bed. Yeah. Listen. And she comes in with this really new, cool invention called the home cordless phone, with the antenna on it.
Yeah.
So she could actually take it downstairs. She's like, hey. I'm like, what are you doing here, woman? I'm sleeping. We had a big night out night before because we were graduating high school and stuff. And so she, gives me the phone, and it was Craig Budden and Les Jackson and our whole head of scouting. The only guy I ever talked to. So anyway, long story short, my mom's like, who was that? I'm like, I think I just got drafted. I just woke up, and she goes, what do you mean? And so, newspaper next day confirmed, I got drafted. And, I had no agent
They
or anything.
didn't call you later that day and tell you?
Nah, maybe they did. I forget. And part of being a goalie, right? And so anyway, I watched, Show Dallas with my mom. Like, if I had my homework done, whatever, on Friday nights, I'd watch it with my mom. So I thought J.R. Sue Ellen, Bobby and Bobby Ewing. I'm like, here we go. You knew. Yeah, we're going to stay at the South Fork Ranch. Let's go. Do nothing. At that point in my life, I was never. This was going to sound like an oxymoron, but I was never more south in my life than Detroit, Michigan. I grew up 5 hours north of that, so that was the most south. So even by the time I ever got here after college, I was never more south than Cincinnati, Ohio. So to me, Texas could be Brazil. It was so far away. I can never even imagine that. Now I drive home to my lake house from here. It's just 20 some hours. So it blew my mind. And I thank Norm Green every time I saw him. He's like, why do you always thank me, Marty? I'm like, Mr. Green, because I could be living in Minnesota. Thanks for bringing the team to Texas.
I think that the first time he ever said glory hole was in one of my interviews.
I think you're right.
And I don't remember the question. I don't remember the rest of his answer. I just thought, oh my God, I think Jerry just won emergency break of the week.
Of course, on the ticket, that's all of a day's work.
Right.
And he's used that glory hole thing several times since then. But I think, oh my gosh, I'd heard it before, but not on air. And I'm like, oh no, emergency break.
It's funny. I have a story coming out soon looking at how much value there is in that, actually, though, in terms of the drawn out negotiations, in terms of what they've done with Dak Prescott and the will they or won't they. Remember, they signed him literally the morning of the season opener last year in Cleveland. The CeeDee Lamb drawn out negotiations. There is value in controversy, and no one knows that better than Jerry Jones himself.
Yeah. I mean, if there's one thing we've learned from him being what he is around here, it's that.
100%.
And that nobody knows it, nobody plays it out like he does. The biggest sports catastrophe that we have ever had in our Fairburg, and you're making something funny out of it.
Yeah. I mean, it hurts along the way, too, that it definitely minds that pain.
See, if you'd only been here when Tom Landry got fired, you could have done something on jocks and socks and everything else. And
I was, but I was a kid. I was a kid.
You were a child. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we were children.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody, well, not everybody, but there are those who sort of expected that to happen.
Yeah. But the Rangers were just impossible to deal with at so many levels in the 80s.
They were.
Plus, they were bad.
Yeah, they were bad and they were difficult. And
yeah.
If you're going to be bad, you can't be difficult.
You can't be both. You're right.
Yeah.
You can't be. I was amazed by the fact that the Cowboys were really good, and Tex Schramm would give us the phone numbers, the home phone numbers of all the players. I mean, I had Tony Dorsett's phone number. I had Randy White's phone number. I had Danny White's phone number. If you needed to call him, here's the number. I'll never forget. I called out the Rangers. I wanted to do a pregame show at 6 o'clock, and I said, "Can you get Bump Wills to join me live at 6, which they did sometimes." And he goes, "Well, I'll let you know when you get to the ballpark." And I said, "Well, I need to know now because I got to put highlights together." And they wouldn't do it. So I said, "Okay, well, in that case, I'm not coming." And they said, "Well, you have to come. We're the Rangers." I said, "No, I really don't." And the same thing happened at SMU. There was a guy, I think it was Larry White, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. And he came from Alabama.
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, you can interview the coaches and players on Tuesday and Tuesday only." I said, "Well, in that case, we're not coming because that's Tom Landry's press conference day."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, I'm sorry, that's the only day." I said, "Oh, well, I'm sorry, then you just won't get any coverage." He said, "Well, you have to. We're SMU." And I said, "Well, that's kind of my point. You're SMU." If I got a choice between Tom Landry, albeit he never said anything, or Bobby Collins or whoever the coach was at the time, we don't go. So for a couple of weeks, we didn't cover SMU. And everybody went nuts. And then they said, "Well, what do you have?" I said, "Well, I need to talk to him on like Monday or Thursday." And they changed. And I was in the middle of that, but everybody just kind of rolled over at the time. And I didn't have the staff at KDFW. I didn't have the staff that Vern was working with at WFAA.
Yeah.
So I had to make a choice, and it was an easy choice to make.
You guys just gave me the idea for a new fun game, too.
Okay.
And I think we should initiate it right here, right now.
Okay.
Oh, crap.
This new fun game is called Is This Guy Still Around?
Okay.
Hey.
Where we come up with a former Ranger grade, and you tell us if this guy is still around. And if he is, when was the last time you saw him? Is he doing okay and everything like that? Or if he's not, then the road is wide open for us to speculate on what he might be and what he might be up to.
Okay. That's
great. And today's candidate on Is This Guy Still Around is Kevin Brown.
I have no clue where he is, where he lives. Obviously, great pitcher. There's great stories about him snapping. But I don't know. I've never heard anybody talk about Kevin Brown. Boch had Kevin Brown at one, right? He managed him, and he would talk about him occasionally, but no clue where he lives or anything.
That was with the Padres, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great question because he's such a, he gets referenced weekly because he was so dominant. And I don't know that I've ever seen him show up at, like an alumni or reunion type situation for a team, or I've never heard of him coaching or consulting or doing. I don't know what the heck he does.
I've never heard him go to a Padre thing, a Dodger thing, a Marlin thing, a Ranger thing. I don't when he was done, he was done.
I've got his Wikipedia page up here. Says he's residing in Macon, Georgia with his wife and 4 sons. Currently an assistant baseball coach at Tatnall Square Academy. But here's this. Since retiring, Brown has been involved in multiple handgun-related incidents.
Uh-oh.
In August 2006, his neighbor reported that Brown pulled out a gun during a dispute over yard debris. No charges were filed. And in June 2018, Brown held 2 suspected male thieves at gunpoint until police arrived.
Huh.
All right.
So, yeah, that's illegal.
That's really not a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, but that's 2 more handgun incidents than I've had. So
yeah, he's got
he's got me beat there.
Yeah. In fact,
could certainly corroborate this. Back in the day, when you would interview him, you would do so very warily because you never knew what you were going to get. You could get anger, you could get smarm, or you could get cool and charming. Hey guys, how you doing? You could get that Kevin Brown. And when you got him talking, he was smart, he was articulate, he gave you good answers, and he was just a great guy to interview. But most of the time,
he was not.
It went the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. He seemed like a pretty intense dude.
Yeah, he was.
Like
that's a good way to put it.
Intense is probably like, yeah. Anyway, intense. we'll leave it there. I mean, there's no sense in taking that any further because I don't know him. But yeah, pretty intense.
Well, there's today's episode of
All right.
Guys Still Around.
All right.
What do you think about sports, Shoopy?
I love sports, Shoopy.
I go back to the zoo days with Rhyner, long before he became a hardliner. Mike was one funny fellow with Rhodey and Labella. Morning radio's never been finer. You know these days his hair is all gray. That does not mean that Rhyner won't stay. If he leaves petty theft, we would all be bereft. Hope the old wolf ain't going away.
Man, all of this has reminded me of how much fun we've had on YDC and the OG this year. Things I remember the most are certainly the broadcaster roundtable. I don't know how we pulled that off, but we managed to get the radio play-by-play guys from all 4 sports teams in the same place at the same time, and just watching those guys riff, guys that I've known for years and years and guys that I really respect and really, I don't just respect them, I idolize them. And watching them talk to each other and tell their stories was just amazing. We've had a lot of great music stuff, and it's been a heck of a good year for us, hasn't it, Shoopy?
Damn right, Shoopy. Getting to do radio, podcast, fun stuff with you, it's a dream.
And it's a dream for me. So, we're coming back with more next year, so stand by.
All right. I'm going to go take my pants off.
Your Dark Companion is a Stolen Water Media presentation.